Okay, let's get more on this now with Peter Alexander. He's a senior lecturer of global food security at the University of Edinburgh. Really good to have you back with us, Professor. It only seems like yesterday that the population reached the 7 billion mark, but in fact that was in 2011, so a little over a decade ago. What does this mean for our planet in terms of the climate crisis and growing food insecurity? Can the world sustain this growing population?
Well, it's definitely good news that the population, the rate of population increase is declining, and that we'll reach a sort of plateau and a ceiling before the end of the century, as we've just been hearing. But if you're asking specifically, is there enough food globally? The answer is yes. The issue is about the quality of that distribution of that food, and the current food system is extremely unequal. And that's seen a rise in undernutrition and other forms of malnourishment in the last few years. So sort of over the sort of preceding decades, we were seeing sort of reductions in the rate of undernutrition. But since 2019, 150 million people have been kind of added to the list, or roughly about now 800 million people who are undernourished, and that's partly driven by increases in population, but also climate change and other issues. But as I say, that's kind of concurrent with a huge rise in the rate of obesity and overweight people, and also overconsumption in really any form of reference in terms of meat within a sort of more Western diet, and other issues of inequality. So there is enough food in the global system. It's not well distributed, if you like.
Yes, the general trend has been that it's the poorer, lesser developed countries that experience higher growth rates versus a decline in the birth rate in richer Western countries. So let's look at the Western countries in particular, because they're facing quite a different dilemma, aren't they? They actually need more people to be born. So how can those countries and those governments address the issue of a declining birth rate?
Yeah, I mean, the connection is with education, women's education specifically, and access to birth control. So where countries develop and they have more education, and that access to birth control, then fertility, child birth rates decline rapidly, which is why the projection for the topping out before the end of the century. And that continues, as countries become more and more higher income, that birth rate seems to be declining. So we don't have replacement rates in many countries. South Korea, I think, is pretty much top of the list or bottom of the list in terms of the decline in population that's projected. But that's true across Europe, Germany, for example.
Okay, Peter Alexander, we will have to leave it there, but great to get your analysis as always. Thank you again.